everybody, I'm Lucas from LoukasArts, and today we are having a look at a little redstone project I made. This is the Infinity Gauntlet from the Marvel Universe, because I thought, why not? It's been publicized a little bit in the movies recently, and I thought I'd make an Infinity Gauntlet because I kind of wanted to make a powered item of some sorts, but I didn't want to just make it have one power, and I thought, what better to make than the Infinity Gauntlet, which has tons of powers for each of the different power gems. You see, we have 6 in our hotbar. We have the Mind Gem, which lets us see into the minds of all the entities, or see where they are at least. Even if the entity isn't in view itself, we can still see where it would be, which is kind of cool. This kind of stretches for quite a while. We also have the Space Gem, which I can't actually show you right now. I'll set that up in just a moment. We have the Power Gem, which just lets you punch things really hard. Punch. I'm actually going to punch this cow and then swap into the Time Gem, which, as you can see, just slows down time. Then we have the Soul Gem that lets you take over the soul of the closest mob. Now I have a cow holding a Soul Gem, which is pretty cool. And then finally here we have the Reality Gem, which will teleport you to a wormhole. Here's a wormhole that I made, which is cool. Also, using the Soul Gem, you can actually move this little wormhole thing around, so you can kind of suspend it in midair if you want, which is cool. Now, this is the Infinity Gauntlet. It doesn't actually do anything apart from sit there. Now, this isn't actually a really finished concept as of now. I kind of want to have some kind of durability thing where if you use your powers too much, the Infinity Gauntlet kind of goes grey. It has a recharge time if you like, so it won't be too overpowered. You can't use these abilities over and over again. But I just really wanted to show you this because I thought I just really want to upload a redstone concept to show you what I've been working on recently. So I'll show you how each individual power works. They're all pretty simple, but I thought combined they're pretty cool. So here, these 3 command blocks are just a little clock that I have running. Now, putting 3 command blocks down means that I can destroy that block and the clock will actually turn off, so I don't have to put any buttons in or anything. And I can put this block back and it turns back on. That's just my weird way of doing clocks. This block we'll find out in a minute. In fact, we'll do this in chronological order. And by chronological, I mean order of command block. So how I'm testing for if you are holding each of the different gems is I am using this tag. Now, this is a bit of a lengthy tag. I'll put this bracketed bit in the description below, but I'm testing for scoreboards. Actually, no, I'm not testing for scoreboards. I'm adding players to a scoreboard. I'm adding all players to the scoreboard of time. I'm adding 1 to their score. This is testing if you're holding the Time Gem. I am testing if they are holding a diamond in their hand named Time. As you can see, the Time Gem is a diamond named Time. So I'm testing if they are holding that gem, and then I'm giving them a score of Time 1. I'm doing all the same with this. This is the Reality Gem, which is a orange die, as you can see down there. And I'm just adding that a reality score of 1. I'm just doing that for each gem, which is pretty cool. And that's how I'm going to execute all of these other command blocks. If you haven't noticed, I used to use a lot of comparisons stuff to test for stuff. Started using scoreboards now. I don't know why I used to like comparators more. It was just a preference, I guess. I liked having longer redstone chains that I can kind of figure out exactly where problems went wrong. But I found out this is much more compact. Well, I already knew this was more compact. I just kind of swapped methods and preferred this one. So I'm just doing that for each of the different gems, like this Power Gem, which is a gold nugget over here, and so on and so forth. Actually, I'll show you what the Space Gem does now if I grab some stone and some fancy ores. Let's just make a little stone box here. In fact, easy way to do this, slash fill, tabby tab, and down here, slash up, tab. Oops. Stone. There we go. Fill that with stone. Let's hide some ores in here somewhere. Put some iron in this wall. And possibly back here, some iron. Some iron in there. And a bit in there. There we go. And we'll put a little mine in here. Running down here like a little corridor. Ooh, we found some of that iron. So what the Space Gem actually does is it lets you see through blocks. It actually makes the physical matter of the world invisible. This only happens with stone because this is the only thing that it would be used well for. there's no point in really seeing through grass because there's only a layer of that in a world. I mean, in my iron world, I guess it'd be helpful to look through iron, but I just see the bottom of the universe. So I picked stone because there's a lot of stone. You can use this for the practical use of being able to see underground, like an X-ray style thing, but it only works in a certain radius, as you can see. So it will be able to tell if there's ores near you, and you'll also actually be able to break through faster the area. However, you won't get any stone. So this is kind of a way to mine quickly, like so, by smashing up the glass, but you won't be able to mine up any of the stone that you get. So it's kind of like swapping resources for speed, if you like. So if you just want to get somewhere quickly through the stone, if you want to dig out a room or just find where the valuable ores are, that's just a nice little cool thing I thought I'd throw in there. The space gem. Anyway, moving on to how these all work. Let me just... There we go. That's that gone. And now, so as you can see here, we have the time gem. It means the command block moved one down and one forward from it is going to have the time command in. Now, the reason this is because the further this way in the positive Z direction these command blocks are, then that's when they will be triggered in order. So this is going to be triggered, then this, and then this. Well, this is going to be triggered, then these, then these, then these, then these, then these. So it's important to know the order of which it's all occurring in. So first of all, we're just going to set the time score to 0, and then we're going to test for the player with a time score of 1, which just means it's going to reset it every time the clock goes on, and then we're going to test for them holding the gem. If they are holding the gem, what it's going to do is it's going to execute at all players with a time of at least 1. It's going to affect all entities in a radius of 40. It's going to give them slowness 1 for 2 seconds. It's going to give them a true effect, which means there is no particles shown, and that's how simple that is. Now these back here run off of a completely different thing. Ignore those. I'll run through some of those commands later. But they don't run off the same basis of go 1 down and 1 across to find the command block for that. So I'll explain what some of these do in a minute. They're like extra command blocks for things that need a little more than 1 command block here. So this is the reality one. As you can see, we are going to reset the reality score, test for a player with reality, and then come 1 across from there. And what reality does, if you remember, if I select it, it will teleport me to this wormhole. I'm going to have to explain how I'm going to place this wormhole. In fact, I'm going to /q at e type equals armor stand equals 1. That's C-1. Brilliant. I killed all the armor stands in the world. That was a stupid move by me. Oh well. That shouldn't be too much of a problem. I don't think I was using armor stands for too much, but yeah, at least I get to show you how this all works with the wormhole spawn egg. So the idea with all of this is that you would be able to use a custom crafting system to make all the items, including the Infinity Gauntlet. This is how I would ideally craft it, with some gold ingots and all the different gems and all the different orders. But my point is to be able to place down a wormhole. You can only place down 1 wormhole, which I thought was an interesting concept. And what you do is you just take your little wormhole spawn egg and you spawn it in, and bam, there's your wormhole. You also get some ink sacs from it. I just kind of left those in there just because I thought, you know, free ink sacs, who doesn't like those? So yeah, there's your wormhole. You just spawned it in with a squid spawn egg. And how we do all this is, what we are doing is, we're executing a squid which name is wormhole, which obviously we just spawned in with this egg. And we are summoning an armor stand at it, which is invisible, has no gravity, and has the custom name of wormhole. We are then going to execute at squids with the name wormhole, and we are going to kill an entity, type equals squid, name equals wormhole, closest equals 1. So I'm going to kill that squid. I could have teleported it to the void, but free ink sacs, who doesn't like those? Over here, this is going to execute at an armor stand with name equals wormhole. We're going to play the witch magic particles at those, at that armor stand with these parameters. These are just some, this is just personal preference really, although I do recommend you put force on there, that way you can see them from more than like 2 meters away. I do recommend you use force on like all particle effects you put down in a command block really, unless they are short range. But yeah, that's all there is to that. And then where is reality? Here it is. This is just going to try and It's going to execute at everyone with a reality score of at least 1, and it is going to teleport the closest player to that person to the wormhole, to an entity named wormhole that is an armor stand. So as you can see, it teleported me to the wormhole. Hope you all took that in. Next we have the mind gem, which is pretty simple. It just plays particle effects at mobs, including the wormhole. So if you're ever looking for your base, let's say you put that at your base to get back quickly, you'll be able to find that pretty easily. It's this big sparkling green thing. So this is just executing at a player of a score of mind of at least 1, and it is then executing at all entities that are not players in a radius of 100. I thought if you're playing on a multiplayer map, it'd be a little more fair if you didn't have players marked out. That way you could kind of like still sneak up on people and not have like this OP advantage of being able to see where everybody is and then be able to do crazy stuff. And then we're just playing a particle of happy villager at all these people, again with some personal parameters, so it goes quite high up into the air with like a thin line, so it's pretty precise. This also does it at items, so if you recently died somewhere, you could see where your items were, possibly where there's a big group of these things. But then again, that could just be a group of mobs, so you've still got that kind of risk. Like, you see where there's a few cows there, you could have thought they might have been your items. They could have been a band of zombies, you don't know. It's still a bit dangerous. And that, then we have the soul, which is being able to take on any mob's kind of persona. I don't know. You can kind of take on the form of any mob. I just killed that cow. Now I'm a villager. Villagers don't work too well because they hide inside your face. But yeah, I am now a villager. So I can kind of exploit this by jumping up and down. There we go. It is now dead. Also, you can use this to move around the wormhole, which is quite interesting. Anyway, let's get out of F5 mode. So soul basically works executing at all players with a soul of at least 1, teleporting the closest mob that is not a player to the closest player to whoever has the soul, which is of course them. And that's just all how it works. That's very simple. Then I believe we have space, which is the whole magic block thing, of which that is going to execute all the people with a space score of 1. It is filling. Actually, no, let's not do that command block quite yet. We need to do this one first. We are filling an area around them with Minecraft stained glass 8, which is the light grey stained glass, and we are replacing stone 0. But before that, we need to put in this command block, which will fill a wider area with stone, replacing Minecraft stained glass, and that will let it turn back into stone when you walk further away from it. Make sure you put them in that order. It's very confusing to remember, but make sure you do that. Finally, the power gem is just going to affect all players with strength for 10 seconds with a power of 1. This is because I wanted to kind of have a little bit of an after strength effect. That way you could swap into your power gem to get that extra power buff, and then back into your sword or something, or your infinity gauntlet. Maybe this could do like some extra damage buffs or something when you're holding it to make it like a powerful weapon. But there's some extra command blocks back here you may have noticed. I'm going to run through what these do. These are things for the soul command blocks, and what these do is they just make sure that you are invisible when you are using the soul gem. That way when you embody a mob, it doesn't look like you're just standing inside of it, and it actually looks like you are the mob. So that just makes you invisible for effect. However, it only does it for 1 second. That way when you stop embodying that mob, you almost instantly become visible again. What this does, this was some weird thing I was testing around with earlier. We can actually destroy that and that. We actually don't need those. I forgot to take those out earlier. But that is actually the whole concept right there in that little chain of command blocks. Obviously there are a couple of things I'd like to add, like this little custom crafting system, but I have a thing I can just stick on the side of there, which won't take too much room up for that. But yeah, that's it for this video, guys, on the Infinity Gauntlet. Let's move out these insects and the beef, have a bit of cleaner inventory. If you did like today's video, do make sure to leave a like down below. Also, do subscribe for more Minecraft content. Leave a comment to say what you'd like to see next time. But guys, this is all we had time for today. There's only one thing left to say. Goodbye.